Field Marshal Gardihewa Sarath Chandralal Fonseka MPRW PRSP VSV USP rcds PSC is a Sri Lankan military leader who was the first Sri Lankan Army officer to be promoted to the rank of Field Marshal. He was the 18th commander of Sri Lankan Army. Under his command, Sri Lankan forces ended the 26-year Sri Lankan Civil War in 2009, defeating the rebel liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam, and he thereafter briefly served as the Chief of Defence Staff. After retiring from the army with the rank of general, he entered politics as the common opposition candidate in the 2010 presidential election, contesting against President Mahinda Rajapaksa. Following his controversial defeat in the presidential election, he was elected to parliament in the general election that followed. Soon after, he lost his parliamentary seat and was made a political prisoner. Fonseka supported Maithripala Sirisena in the 2015 presidential election, and following his victory, the newly appointed President Sirisena gave Fonseka a full pardon, reinstating his civic rights, rank and decorations. Later he was promoted to the rank of Field Marshal on the 22nd of March 2015. Fonseka joined the Sri Lankan Army in 1970 and was commissioned as a second lieutenant in June 1971, and rose through the ranks while completing training stints across South Asia and in the United States and the United Kingdom. He saw extensive action throughout the 26-year Civil War, and over the years acquired a reputation as a tough battlefield commander, and was often in the thick of the action in fighting against the Tamil Tigers, culminating in a term as commander of the army from the 6th of December 2005 to 15 July 2009. As commander, he oversaw the final phase of the Sri Lankan Civil War, which resulted in the total defeat of the militant liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam. He also survived an assassination attempt when an LTTE suicide bomber attacked his motorcade in April 2006. Following the end of the war, Fonseka was promoted to a 4-star rank in the Sri Lankan Army, becoming the first serving officer to hold a 4-star rank. He has been described as Sri Lanka's most successful army commander. A few months after the defeat of the Tamil Tigers, Fonseka was appointed Chief of Defence Staff by President Mahinda Rajapaksa. While his new post was of a higher rank, Fonseka saw the move as an attempt to sideline him. Amid rumours of his desire to enter politics, he subsequently retired from the post on the 16th of November 2009. On the 29th of November 2009, Fonseka formally announced his candidature in the 2010 Sri Lankan presidential election. His candidacy was endorsed by the main opposition parties, and Fonseka became the main opposition candidate challenging President Rajapaksa. He campaigned under the sign of a swan and the slogan Vishwasaniya Vinazak. Following his election defeat, Fonseka was arrested on the 8th of February 2010, and the government announced he will be court-martialed for committing military offences. He was convicted for corrupt in military supply deals and sentenced to 3 years in prison. After serving more than 2 years in prison, Fonseka was released amidst local and international pressure on the 21st of May 2012. As per the pre-election statement, President Maithripala Sirisena gave him the complete presidential pardon and acquitted him of all the charges against him on the 22nd of January 2015, restoring his civic rights. Early life. Fonseka was born on the 18th of December 1950 in the coastal town of Ambalangada in the south of Sri Lanka. His father was Peter Fonseka, a school principal, and his mother Piyawathi Fonseka was a teacher. He initially attended Madawalalanda Mahavidyalaya in Ampara, later receiving his secondary education from Dharmasoka College, Ambalangada, and Ananda College, Colombo. Fonseka represented his alma mater in cadetting, swimming and water polo events. He was the college swimming and water polo captain in 1969 and later represented the defense services and the country in these sports. His interest in cadetting inspired him to join the Army. Military career. Early years. Fonseka joined the Ceylon Army on 5 February 1970 as a cadet officer, and after completing his basic officer training at the Army Training Center in Diyatalawa, he was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the 1st Battalion, Ceylon Sinha Regiment on 1 June 1971 during the 1971 insurrection, serving with as platoon commander in the Sinha Regiment. He was promoted to lieutenant in 1973 and was promoted to the rank of captain in 1976. During this time he underwent the Commando Officers Course, Battalion Support Weapons Course and Counter-Insurgency Jungle Warfare Course in India. In 1980 he was promoted to the rank of Major, and in 1981 he attended the Company Commander's Course in Pakistan. In the next few years he served as an instructor at the Sri Lankan Military Academy, Ampara Combat Training School and Infantry Training Centre, and later as the Chief Instructor, Deputy Commandant in the same training institutes. Eelam War I. In 1987, he graduated from Defence Services Command and Staff College, Mirpur in Bangladesh. On his return was appointed Commanding Officer, 4th Sri Lanka Light Infantry, and participated in the Vadamarachchi operation. The following year he was promoted to Lieutenant Colonel and appointed Commanding Officer, 1 Battalion, Sri Lanka Sinha Regiment in 1989. With the onset of the 1987-89 JVP insurrection, he was appointed as Military Coordinating Officer for Gampaha District. Fonseka reputedly devised a plan which led to the capture of Primakamarganaratnam and gained a reputation for his humane treatment of prisoners of war. Eelam War II. In 1991, he was promoted to colonel and served as a brigade commander, 3rd Brigade during Operation Balavagar, and went on record as one of the most distinguished and exceptional one in his capacity as a brigade commander. In the First Battle of Elephant Pass, the Sri Lankan armed forces were able to beat back the LTTE owing to the tenacity of the besieged troops led by Fonseka and the grit with which they held on despite the overwhelming odds. Thereafter he was appointed as Centre Commandant, Sri Lanka Sinha Regiment at Ambapusa, and next served as Staff Officer at the Directorate of Operations at the Army Headquarters. In 1993, the Jaffna fort was under siege by Tamil Tiger rebels. Then Colonel Fonseka led troops in the daring Midnight Express operation to relieve besieged troops. Several hundred soldiers were saved due to the operation. Colonel Fonseka was wounded that year in the Yaldavi operation, having been shot through the lung. At the time Fonseka was General Officer commanding 23 Division. After recovering, he was promoted to Brigadier in December 1993 and was appointed to the operational headquarters in Colombo. Eelam War III. Brigadier Fonseka was soon deployed to operational areas, serving as Commander, Area Headquarters, Mana, General Officer Commanding 5 Division in Mana, General Officer Commanding 21 Division, Deputy Commander, Task Force I, General Officer Commanding 3 Division in Batticaloa, General Officer Commanding 27 Division in Kilinochchi, Coordinating Officer for Kates and Mandativu, Deputy General Officer Commanding 51 Division in Jaffna, General Officer Commanding 23 Division in Polonnaruwa, overlooking General Officer Commanding Vavuniya, Task Force 2, General Officer Commanding 55 Division at Mirasuval. In 1995, Gen. Fonseka won widespread plaudits for his role in Operation Riveressa, the Army's operation to capture Jaffna town from the Tamil Tigers. He played a major role in Operation Jayusi Kurui. In 1998, he was promoted to the rank of Major General. He was appointed Colonel of the Regiment of the Sri Lanka Senior Regiment, serving as General Officer commanding 22 Division and Director General, General Staff at the Army Headquarters. In 2000, with the imminent fall of Elephant Pass, Major General Fonseka was rushed in as Commander, Security Force Headquarters, Jaffna, and successfully defended the Jaffna Peninsula from the massive offensive Operation Unceasing Waves 3, launched by the LTTE. Thereafter, he served as Commander, Security Force Headquarters, Wani, from May 2002 to November 2003. After he was again appointed the Commander, Security Forces Headquarters, Jaffna, Fonseka strengthened the defenses of Jaffna, overlooking his own future in the army, and launched a groundbreaking training program for the infantry. Thereafter, he attended the Royal College of Defence Studies in London, and on his return he was appointed Commandant, Defence Services Command and Staff College. In 2003, he was appointed Commandant, Sri Lankan Army Volunteer Force, and in 2004 he was appointed Director Infantry, Deputy Chief of Staff and the Chief of Staff of the Sri Lankan Army. In 2005 he was appointed Commander of the Army and was promoted to the rank of Lieutenant General. Suicide bomb attack on the 25th of April 2006. LT. General Fonseka survived an LTTE suicide bomb attack by a pregnant LTTE operative named Anolukuganthera Rasa, who infiltrated Army headquarters by attending the regular maternity clinic provided for civilians at the military hospital. Fonseka was seriously injured in the attack, and 9 others were killed. The general was rushed to the Colombo General Hospital within minutes. This had been possible because the attack took place next to the army hospital and therefore an ambulance was at hand. Fonseka was conscious upon admittance and had communicated with his officers and the doctors. The commander, who was unconscious after the operation, was put on a ventilator and regained consciousness on the 30th of April 2006. He was later transferred to the military hospital at Army headquarters and subsequently flown to Singapore for medical treatment. In 2016, Fonseka requested President Maithripala Sirisena to take steps towards releasing the person imprisoned in connection with his attempted assassination. Eelam War 4. After recovering from his injuries, the general resumed his duties in July 2006. Fonseka has been described as the mastermind of the military strategy behind the military victory in Sri Lanka's 3-decade war against terrorism. He abandoned conventional methods, matched the ingenious tactics and strategies of the LTTE, fully utilized the superior numerical strength and firepower of the armed forces, and kept up pressure on the enemy. He broke tradition by insisting on the full deployment of naval and air power to aid the war on land, and succeeded in getting the support of the other service commanders. Fonseka broke army units into small groups and made these highly trained and motivated men infiltrate tiger-held areas, track down the fighting cadres of the LTTE and eliminate them. He transformed the Lankan army from a defensive outfit to an offense force. Along with his proactive military leadership, the battle-hardened commander changed military strategy in preparations before the war, such as changing the training and ethos of the infantry and preparing the defenses in the north. He empowered the frontline soldier, breaking the norms of conventional military attitude. In 2007, Fonseka introduced the Mechanized Infantry Regiment. Fonseka changed the reactionary nature of the army and formulated a plan that would end the war in a time frame of 3 years. The aim was shifted from capturing ground to destroying the enemy. He reduced operations conducted along the main roads and expanded expanded the battlefront in order to disperse the enemy manpower and firepower. To this end he devised the strategy of introducing large numbers of four-man teams to the theatre of war, thereby reducing military and civilian casualties through dispersion, stealth and precision in operations, and fought the war on multiple fronts. He inaugurated the Northern Campaign before the conclusion of the Eastern Campaign, thereby making it difficult for political intrusion to halt the war. Defying the famous advice of Chinese general and military strategist Sun Tzu, General Fonseka opted instead to attack the LTTE's strongest areas. The commander also opted for performance over seniority and selected officers with experience in the field. He restructured the Army intelligence units, which proved vital for the Navy and the Air Force to destroy LTTE ships, commanders and other targets. Fonseka implemented strong measures to improve the discipline in the Army, or eradicate corruption and wastage. He also reduced the burden on the government and the citizen by the effective management of the resources at his disposal, and personally ensured the unimpeded supply of ammunition. On January 2009, he was described as the best army commander in the world by India's National Security Advisor. Defeat of the LTTE. On the 18th of May 2009, the Sri Lankan military completely defeated the LTTE after 26 years of civil war. Fonseka played a key role as commander of the army, and is considered as a national hero by the majority of Sri Lankans due to this achievement. Chief of Defence Staff. Fonseka was appointed Chief of Defence Staff by President Rajapaksa effective 15 July 2009. He was the first person appointed CDS under the newly approved Chief of Defence Staff Act, which was supposed to give the CDS more responsibilities in coordinating the armed forces. Retirement. Fonseka officially handed over his letter of resignation to the President through the Defence Secretary on 12 November 2009. He requested to serve as CDS until the end of the month. He resigned from that post to compete as a candidate for the presidential election, which was held in January 2010. He left office on 16 November 2009. President Mahinda Rajapaksa appointed Air Force Chief Roshan Guneshwar to succeed Fonseka on 16 November 2009.